Well, folks, in today's video, we're going to be restoring this Western Maryland BL2 locomotive. I picked this locomotive up real cheap at the OVA or train swap. It was only $1, which was a deal I just couldn't resist. The reason it was so cheap was because the original owner bought it about 15 years ago and never finished assembling it. Now, apparently, all the parts needed to finish its assembly are in this bag. So hopefully, provided we don't run into any problems, we should be able to restore this thing relatively easy. So, let's find out if our $1 locomotive turns out to be worth it or not. Well, it's probably worth it even if it doesn't work, but hey, whatever works. One thing before I start taking this thing apart, I know my eyes look a little bit messed up. I went to the eye doctor and they put some stuff in it, so that's why they look a little bit not normal. But what I'm saying is I don't want any comments in the comment section saying I caused this somehow. So anyway, with that out of the way, let's get to restoring this fine locomotive. I guess we don't actually have to assemble it, but we should probably find out what the contents of this bag is. I did take a really quick look at it at one point, and it did look like all the parts were there. Yeah, that looks about right. There's a... okay, there are geared wheels. I wonder if this engine was assembled at one point, because you can see there's grease in the pan there, so... weird. I don't know what the situation is with the locomotive. Yeah, let's open it up and see what's going on inside. Alright, so it's your basic old AHM design there, really nothing too special. Motor, the brushes have some wear on them though. This engine was definitely run. This was not something that was just partially slapped together. Okay, the motor does turn. I'm going to go get my power pack and see if we can give the motor some power, just find out if the motor actually turns over before we go attaching all these other parts on. Alright, we got some power here. Now let's find out if this thing works. Well, that's pretty good there. I mean, it's not flawless. You can see the lights blinking a bit, but that motor's running fairly mint. So if we just give it some oil there, put a bit there, there. This thing's gonna run like a charm, really. Yeah, it's gonna run great. Alright, so I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I don't have a clue how I'm gonna get these parts in. I think I've got an idea here. So, these are the two nuts and bolts. I think these hold on the back trucks, and then for the front trucks we've got a screw and another screw, and then these are the two front wheels. So why don't we start with the front wheels and then we'll move on to the back wheels. So to put these wheels in, we're going to begin by using a little bit of synthetic oil here, and as I always say in almost all of my videos, you really just want residue. You don't even want a drop of oil. These things do not need much, and if you put too much, it's just going to add more resistance. Now here's something important. You see there's a black ring around that side. There's not around the other. So power comes in through here, and it travels to the middle from the side that doesn't have that black ring. But on the other side, this side, it does have the black ring. Power only goes around the wheel. It doesn't go to the axle. Now the power comes in through these tabs. So you need to make sure, whatever way you put these wheels in, you have to have both the conductive and non-conductive sides on the same side, because if you have a conductive and non-conductive one and they're alternating, you're going to have an electrical short, which is, you know, obviously what you don't want. So that's just something to be mindful of. And in my earlier days of restoration, it's a mistake I made quite a few times, and I still do to this day, because it's not always perfectly clear on whatever piece you're working on, which side is which. But it's just something to be mindful of, because you might have restored something and it seems okay, it probably is, but you make that one mistake and it will take down your whole operation until you correct it. Okay guys, I changed my mind. I'm going to put the nuts and bolts on this side, because we can turn this side to an angle, which is a lot easier than having to do the same thing on a truck which hasn't got that same ability. So it shouldn't be too hard. Of course, my eyes are also very blurry right now, so it's kind of hard to line this all up. But I'm sure if I just keep going at it, it will be okay. Alright, so we got the front wheels in, now we just need to get the back ones in. I'm going to begin by lubricating each and every bearing, which there are a lot of. Now I'm pretty sure it's these gears that go in first. I could be mistaken on this, but I guess we'll find out soon enough whether I'm right or wrong. A very odd gearing arrangement there. We need that to be the opposite to that, so okay, I think I done it right. So we got the non-insulated ones on this side, so power comes in through this side, and then on this side we got the isolated ones on the same side as the insulated ones, so the power on this set of wheels will come in here. So we got power here and power here. I hope that makes sense. That's probably not the most simplistic way to describe it, but I don't know how else to. Alright, I did this part off camera too. It was just sort of complicated. But anyway, I think we've got the whole engine together, and we've got a wire that goes here, so we've got power on this side. We've got a wire that comes up from the truck on this side. So, in theory, in the perfect world, this runs. So we're going to put this shell back onto it, and we'll take it over to the track and try to test run it. Locomotive finished. Alright, let's set this thing up. See what is going on. Oh! We have a runner, folks. Well, sort of. Yeah, it just kicked out. What the heck? That's weird. Okay, I have no idea what's happened here. Okay, so I found the source of the problem. You can see all the wires appear to be intact. Look at this. The soldering joint, I guess, went bad. It doesn't even look like it was ever connected, or if it was, it wasn't done very well. Anyway, I guess this was just barely holding on, and when we started driving it, it just snapped right off. So if we resolder that, it should be okay. At least. This thing's in power here. Alright. Pretty sure the first person to have soldered this didn't use flux, and if you're someone who enjoys soldering and you don't have flux, all I can suggest is just go out and buy some. It really makes life so much easier. Alright, so we got the connection all soldered up, so all we need to do is put the shell back on. Alright. Hey! Well, that's fair enough. Alright, well, I'm pretty happy with that. Well, folks, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm pretty happy with the results. I mean, you really can't complain with a locomotive that only cost you $1. And you know, looking back, I think it was kind of a fitting restoration for today, because this is a peculiar looking thing, just like my eyes today.